Right guys, so who watched the England game?
Business as usual for staff and students at the Halifax Academy today after a turbulent and trying school year. Just last week, 20 staff were off work isolating, as were more than 100 youngsters, including the whole of Year 10. It's a frustrating time for head teacher Matt Perry, who's been questioning government instructions to schools about positive COVID cases.
We had one this morning where we had a positive case in Year 8. We then have to track and trace around that student. Fortunately, it was only 4 students who we've had to isolate today. Then we have to contact families. They have to stop what they're doing. They have to come and collect the child. We send home the testing kits with them. We send home work packs with them. Make sure if they need IT provision that we can send home a laptop with them so they can access it. You know, it can sound very simple as sending children home to isolate, but the ripple effects that can have are tremendous, and the amount of work it takes to support them properly is huge.
But it's not just a day-to-day issue. The school's catchment area has had an explosion of cases and deaths in recent months, and it's something young people will be living with for years to come.
We serve a community which faces a huge amount of barriers, and whether that's IT access, whether that's just a bedroom or a table to work at, I think they've had to face a huge amount of challenges, and I think again, the impact on BAME communities has been horrific, and I think that's been a challenge for this school in particular.
Students here have found isolation disruptive and frustrating.
If we miss a lesson now, it feels like we missed like a whole year, even though it's just one lesson.
For some people, school was their only escape from home, and having to stay at home all the time, I can't even imagine how much stress they must be under.
Personally, I had to isolate a while ago because someone got COVID and I was near them, so that was 2 weeks off school.
This is my husband, Peter.
Meanwhile, mother of 4, Bernadette Cronin from Leeds, is isolating with her husband and children after feeling unwell and taking COVID tests.
The home one came negative, the one you get normal home ones, all came negative. But we did a PCR one and that came positive. School said to keep them and get all of them tested. And once the results comes, let them know and do the isolation, and then they can come back to school.
The Education Secretary, Gavin Williamson, says he's working with scientists and public health experts to relax COVID measures in schools.
I think something drastic has to happen. I think there does have to be a grand plan for education, and at the moment it feels very piecemeal. It feels quite small thinking as opposed to big thinking about how over the next 10 years can we really help to address the impact of COVID on young people.
It's still not clear what school will look like come September. Teachers and parents just crave clarity and some kind of normality for their children's education. Ian White, BBC Look North, Halifax.
Thanks, Ian. Well,